And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to invite like dancing.
There's a song in my mouth and in my heart. And I'm excited because I see the generation of victory before me. It was 50 years ago, this year, that we tried to overthrow the student union at the University of Nigeria. Because we wanted new thinking. 50 years ago this year. It was a struggle. Years of struggle. They did not believe us. Today, they know the new Nigeria is possible. A new Nigeria is possible. One lesson is the virtue of focusing on the right thing and staying consistent, no matter how the wind blows. Nigeria, when its founding fathers moved for freedom, as you just heard, from the very obedient grandfather. When the founding fathers moved for freedom, this country was not unindustrialized. Even though the reason for colonialism was the raw materials that were found in Nigeria to drive the industrial revolution in Europe. The people of Nigeria, or the areas that now came to be Nigeria, and Europeans have been in communications for hundreds of years. In 1490, the princes of Benin had viceroys in the court of Henry the Navigator in Portugal. If you visit the Olu of Warriors Palace, they track their beginnings to Portugal hundreds of years ago. But there was no colonial domination. Colonial domination actually came when the Industrial Revolution started. Sorry. Yes? Sorry. Urgent. Everything is urgent.
We're in a hurry to change Nigeria.
Yeah. So, normal trade went on between the princes of the delta, of the coastal parts of Nigeria, and princes of Europe, merchants of Europe. But when the Industrial Revolution came, when the conditions in Europe required cheap supply of, the easy way to do it was to have colonial hegemony that would hold some people down, make it easy to take their resources. Now, throughout that period of colonizing Nigeria, there were no factories where you just added water to what was shipped from Europe and beer was available to drink. But the brave new leaders of Nigeria, very young men, teachers, most of them, began a revolutionary drive for industrialization. One of them, a lawyer called Obafemi Awolowo, started an industrial estate. Most of you go through it today, you don't know its history. It's called the Ikeja Industrial Estate. Asked the government of Western Region to take an interest in the factories. And so we had in Ikeja, if you drive through Obakran today, you see almost all the factories of Obakran have Udua investments. That's where that came from. And those led to growth. But you know what happened? It set up competition between the leaders of the emerging parts of Nigeria. Once the Ikeja Industrial Estate was going, the Premier of Eastern Region decided to respond. And he responded with Aba and Port Harcourt, Trans-Amadi in Aba, in Port Harcourt and Aba Industrial Estate. They even attracted away some investors who had moved into Ikeja, like Pfizer. Pfizer relocated his factory from Ikeja to Aba. The Premier of Northern Region started Kakuri in Kaduna and invited the Hong Kong Chinese to from consumption to production. It's about the reasserting of Nigeria as an industrial player. It's about creating those jobs that you need. It's about creating those jobs that give you dignity. It's about creating the confidence that will make you entrepreneurial and creative open jobs. This movement is about you. And this is why it is so important that you do not see it as a fancy activity. It's a matter of life and death. You know, in the good book, it says the good Lord has put before you life and death. Choose life that you may live. And I challenge you, the youth of Nigeria, choose life that you may live. Choose the only true option. You know, I once said that Datti was Tina. What is Tina? There is no alternative. Years ago we shouted about where Nigeria was going and we said Tina for open doors, coming down on barriers, ending all these tariff wars. Today, the Tina, because a clear set of ideas have been articulated, clearly articulated about how Nigeria will move rapidly forward. This is not the kind of talk, I will give you water, I will give you light, no. Yes, in the manifesto, into practical accomplishments. One segment is called the Big Ideas segment. There we will show you how within the next 12 months, every Nigerian can be a millionaire. I mean, that's, look, they say one chief accountant stole how many billion, I beg? 100 and waiting billion. Not 80 billion. 1 month. Okay. The other one still have. If we just connect all this money stolen, and place them in 20 banks with your BV and everything, we can allot at least 3 million naira to every Nigerian. If you need quality, low-cost housing, we will withdraw the startup money for those who will begin to build a house for you. The quality of your life will begin to shoot up. If by the time we withdraw everything that you need to do, you still have 300,000 in your account, go chop that one. Now God do it for you. In New Nigeria is possible. That's right. We mean business, and this country will change. Yes. People like us are getting ready to go, but when we go, we want people to be singing. It happened in our time. Yes. So this is not about a struggle for power. What has kept us down is that for power trumped purpose. People forgot why they were seeking power. There was power for the sake of power and to use for self-aggrandizement. That is why we got to state capture of a nature where I don't know how many of you know about it. I founded the concerned professionals as a revolt against the military when the June 12 elections were annulled. And we brought leading professionals across Nigeria into this movement. On the podium today, I tend to go forward and say to them, you know this ground we're having this rally off of. This is what it represented on October 1, 1960. Across from it there is Western House. In front of Western House in 1994, policemen beat me and several executives because we said no to the annulment of the June 12 election. Further down the street, Ajele street there, we had a rally when we could not enter any major building. The church gave us support, gave us their hall to use. They sent policemen from Sokoto to come and confront us. My glasses was flying out in this direction as we all ran for cover. But that struggle has brought us to this point today. Nigeria will rise up again. It's time for you to know that this struggle is yours. And what I would like all of you to do is go door to door, knocking, telling your neighbors the time for a new Nigeria is here. Do you have a voter's card? Are you going to vote Obidient? On that day, go out, knock on their doors, say to them, you must come out to vote. The moment of change has come. Do the voting, become a citizens' army, vote. And the day after, we will celebrate the beginning of a new nation. New Nigeria. And you can make it happen. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you. By the way, I've been talking with. He left from Golden Tulip, headed to Alaba. Says to me he will try and drive up here, but it will not happen in 1 minute if he gets here to say a word. But I'm going to be monitoring him as he's coming. The rally is waiting for us. If it's getting too tight, we may just go up there together and meet up with him. But I'll call him again right now as I finish this and see whether we wait for him some more or we just head out and meet at that point where we will declare a new Nigeria.
Thank you. Round of applause. Round of applause for Prof. Round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. You know, I said something earlier that there's this vibe, there's this unexplainable joy in the air. And that's because it is time for us to change the narrative. You know, this is Lagos, Echo. This is our Echo. It will add to what Prof said. We will wait for PO to get here. We are the engine room of his campaign. We go nowhere, we die here. He must come here before we go to the rally ground. Do I have a witness in the house? That's why we're here. Some people were here as early as 7:30 this morning. And Lagos is the mother rally of all rallies. So we know our president, even if it's for him to fly, he will do that to be with us here, to create that moment, and from here straight to the rally ground. Without further ado, we want to welcome someone that loves the youth passionately, that is supposed to